The power of the Doctor marked the end of Jodie's run as the Time Lord, and what an episode it was. I have to say, I actually did enjoy it. For a 90-minute episode, it managed to keep me interested and involved throughout. But it was extremely messy, with so many different plot threads going on that all could have done with being fleshed out a bit more. We had Cybermasters, a defective Dalek, Ashad returned to take on UNIT. We caught up with Tegan and Ace, stolen photo, seismologists, the Master, a Dalek invasion of Earth. Vinda made an appearance, old Doctor showing up, and the list goes on. The whole thing was overstuffed and actually felt like it should have been 2 episodes or more. The whole episode was pretty much non-stop, with so much to do and not really enough time to do it. We were left with very few moments that actually allowed us to breathe. Now, there are plenty of other channels out there that have made and will be making incredibly in-depth reviews of this episode, talking about the plot, the characters, nitpicking, all of that stuff. But that's not what I want to talk about. I thought that because Jodie has finished her time as the Doctor, I would look at a scene that really stood out to me in this episode, focusing on one of the scenes from this special, one of the last scenes of the episode, and one that I actually really enjoyed. We're going to be looking at the Doctor and Yaz's final scene together, sitting on top of the Tardis. Now we start by panning up from the TARDIS door to find the Doctor and Yaz sitting on the roof, floating in space, both with an ice cream in hand, looking at planet Earth. What I like about this is that this was Yaz's choice. The Doctor said in the earlier scene,
"One last trip, where would you choose?"
We know Yaz leaves at the end of this episode, and with all of the options in the galaxy, she chooses to see Earth with this Doctor. She knows that this will probably be the last time in the TARDIS. She could have gone anywhere, but she decided to see her home, her planet, and I think that's a really lovely choice.
Home's important.
Now, there was a similar scene to this at the end of the last episode, The Legend of the Sea Devils. These 2 characters sitting down and talking. During that scene, the Doctor tells Yaz that she can't fix herself to anything because it'll hurt too much if she does. The universe moves on without her as she outlasts all of her friends. We see a little thread of this earlier on in The Power of the Doctor with Tegan and Ace, being old companions dealing with life after leaving the Doctor. When they say to Yaz,
"We used to be you decades back."
I see.
you can see the look on her face, the realization that one day the Doctor will leave her behind. And maybe that's something that she really hasn't thought about until now. But she wants to hold on, and she makes it clear with this line.
I don't want it to end.
And in the Doctor's reaction, we see so much pain and sadness. Jodie acts her socks off here, and I think it's a beautiful thing to watch. But despite this pain, we see that signature 13th Doctor's optimism and joy shine through. But it is cracked. She has this huge smile as she speaks, but it wanes, it starts to break as she puts on this mask. Her emotions are real, but definitive. She's trying to help her accept that she is coming to the end of her life.
Nobody else got to live our days. Nobody. And my heart is so full of love of all of you.
Jodie weaves in sorrow and happiness so beautifully here as she seemingly tries to hold back her tears, hold back her sadness. Her love for her friends, for her fam, was such a key part of this incarnation, and she's trying to deal with the realization that she's now going to change and lose all of these connections. As I mentioned earlier, we see that in Tegan and Ace. Once the Doctor regenerates and becomes effectively a new person, they do lose that same connection with their old friends. That is something that the Doctor has to come to terms with when regeneration starts. Another interesting note about this scene is that throughout this Doctor's run, she very often keeps things from her companions, being extremely secretive and holding things to herself. And this whole scene encapsulates this. She is full of sorrow, frustration and fear, but she tries her best to hide this, putting on a face of strength and positivity for Yaz and for herself.
I have loved being with you, Yaz.
It is obvious how she feels about Yaz, but sadly, It's already in the past tense. I loved being with you. She knows that there is no point grasping on what she has now because it's all going to change very soon. And this moves into the absolutely genuine.
And I have loved being me.
I think it is hard to tell how she truly feels in this scene because she's playing with so many emotions and this mask. But in this line, I think we see her acceptance, genuine acceptance of what is to come. The scene before, she gets frustrated, saying, "I need more time." But here, we see it in her face, we hear it in her words. I think she is ready for the end of her time. But she wants to do it alone. And for Yaz, it is clear that the Doctor has already made her mind up. Through the Doctor's words, though, are actually trying to comfort and deal with this pain. There is that finality. She's making it clear that she is going to leave, she is going to change. Yaz needs to accept this, but truly can't bring herself to believe it.
Let's not say goodbye.
There is a slight denial from her character there. If you never say goodbye, then it's never really over. A lovely touch to this moment is that while Yaz is looking at the Doctor in this shot, Jodie puts on this strong, positive smile and demeanour. But as soon as she looks away, that smile drops. We see her true feelings. We finish the scene on both of these characters looking out over Earth for the final time. I hope at some point I will really dive into the 13th Doctor as a whole, but I think Jodie is great in this scene. Like, her Doctor has always exuded this childlike joy and excitement throughout her run, so seeing her trying to keep up that front but letting that truth seep out into her performance, it's such a beautiful mixture of emotions. Think what you will of her Doctor and the Chibnall era, but I really like this scene, and I think that it was a lovely send-off for this version of the Doctor. Hello there, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. If you got to this part of the video, thank you for watching so far in. I've recently just hit 1,000 subscribers, which is completely crazy. It happened in like 2 weeks. So thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, get on the bandwagon, click that button, hit the bell so you'll be notified for all my new videos. And yeah, like the video, that really helps with the algorithm, get the video out there. And I'd love to hear your comments. What did you think about the episode? What do you think about where Doctor Who's going? I'm really excited for the next phase. So yeah, expect more videos soon. Thank you so much. Bye.